So, hello and welcome everyone to today's FOMC live stream. I hope you all are ready for some some volatility. Let me just double check something before I 1 second. Ah dear. Okay, right. So let's start. Hope you can hear me. Hope you can hear me. We are going to prepare here a little bit for the interest rate decision, and obviously we don't know what it's going to be like. You know what the actual rate is. They are going to announce. Maybe someone can confirm that you can actually hear me. And then we can really start. So hi everybody, already 350 viewers. Would be great if you could hit the like button, and it brings this live stream out to more people. That would really help if you could just spend a second hitting that like button. That really helps these live streams. So we want to talk about what can we actually expect. So good, great sound, fantastic. So today, obviously, as we have the interest rate decision. We had a couple of months nothing, but now we've got another meeting. Obviously, meeting started yesterday. They have their 2-day meetings. And just to give you a little bit of context, we are expecting a 25 basis point interest rate increase. That has shifted quite a bit in the last few days. So I'm normally sort of leaning towards what this CME FedWatch tool says. It is normally very accurate, and it has really been spot on. I think most of the time, really, last year and this year. And what you see here, the current rate is 475. So 450 to 475 basis points. It's always a range they announce. And initially, like a couple of weeks ago, before the banks went bust in the US, everybody was like, okay, we're gonna see a 50 basis point rate hike, right? That changed obviously after these banks went bust, and we had the banking crisis start in the US, second biggest banking crisis since Lehman Brothers. And then it all shifted, and probabilities shifted towards, all right, we're not going to see any rate increase anymore. So that was quite high here. So the left bar here shows the probability for no rate increase. That was very high until I think a couple of days ago. And then we had obviously 25 basis point increase was quite low. That has shifted from one day to another again. I don't know, to be honest, what happened, but it's been moving around quite a bit. So I'm a bit unsure what is actually priced into the market. So what is my personal view? My personal view, I think there is a decent chance they are not gonna do anything, but because the market expects 25. Yeah, I think we might see 25, to be honest. It would be even better for crypto if we're not going to do if we're not going to seeing anything. But there must be a reason why probabilities for a 25 basis point increase has gone up so much, because it was basically, I think, only like 30% a few days ago. It's gone up to 85%. So I think we might see the 25 basis point increase, and that might lead to a little bit of a dump in crypto. Yeah, I'm very honest with you, because I think there a certain element of no rate increase is already priced in. I think it's not fully priced in, but I think there are market participants that speculate for no rate increase. I think that's sort of to a degree priced in, which means if we see 25, it might actually lead to a bit of a drop. Now, we expect a drop for Bitcoin, Ethereum anyway, so let's see what's going to happen. But certainly, I think 50 basis points is off the table. So I don't think we need to talk about that. If they do 50, it's going to, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think they do 50. So I think we're going to see 25, possibly no rate increase. That would be good for the market, right? I mean, it all depends. There's so much happening in the background we don't know about. And I think they will have very carefully thought about what they're going to do, because they need to do something to stop inflation. But they also need to make sure that not too many, also larger banks go bust. So that's the point they need to sort of consider. Now, how much influence 25 basis points will make, I don't know. But yeah, I think this is sort of, it's between 0 and 25. Market expects 25. Could be both, of course, right? And I'm sort of leaning towards 25 as well. But zero, I think zero would be really good for the crypto market. It would lead to that third of a third rally that we've been talking about. But maybe we see a bit of a drop before. You often see that, you know, first of all, you see this announcement, then the market goes in one direction and suddenly changes direction. So it could be we see that drop for Bitcoin that's due and then a rally. But, you know, we'll be here maybe for around about an hour. I'm not going to be here for the stream, for the speech. So what's going to happen actually? So as always, a lot of new people here. So what's going to happen? We've got where are we today? So it's 2 p.m. Eastern time. So basically in 24 minutes, we are going to get that statement. Yeah. So it will show here that the funds rate, what the actual will be. And then they've got the press conference later. So I'm not going to be here for the press conference. Main reason, I'm going to be extremely hungry in an hour. So I need to get dinner. And yeah, I was quite busy. So that's the main reason. Also because I'm not sure if I can, you know, I'd like to stream it myself, but I'm not sure, you know, I don't want to get any copyright issues by streaming sort of a third party stream. So I'm not really happy with that. So yeah, but I thought, you know, this is sort of the background, and we see it here as well, just sort of the history of rate increases. Obviously last year we had everything like 0.2, no, not last year, well, beginning of last year, 0.25%. You can see how aggressively they raised it. Now, historically, if you go decades back, we are still in a very, very low interest rate environment. Yeah, historically, they've been historically much, much higher. So that's just for the background as well. A lot of people think we are in a high interest rate environment. No, we are not. So in terms of that, we actually not really, because that's what often people say, you know, in a high interest rate environment, people are not going to invest anymore in cryptos and whatever. Well, we are not in a high interest rate environment. We had interest rates of 10%, 15%, 20% historically. So we are actually still fairly low. The problem is that the entire market has become addicted to the easy money. And I think that's the main problem here. Okay, guys. Yeah, let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart, you know, while we're waiting. I'll go through the chat as well if I see any questions. I might have missed something already. By the way, thank you very much, Frankie. Thank you very much. So, yeah, I have to get lunch, someone said. Okay. So how does crypto perform during recessions? Tobias asked. Well, you can't really say because crypto hasn't really seen a recession yet, I think. I would need to double check, but there was certainly no major recession within crypto's history. And you can't really say, you can't just look at the S&P 500. You can't say we are in a recession. The markets are not going to do well. It is completely decoupled from recessions. Yeah, the market itself, prices move completely independent. It is what it is. You've had historically, for example, we can only look at the stock market because we've got the history. Historically, the S&P 500 has performed well in the beginning of recessions. Then at some other point in time, it has performed really well at the end of recessions. It has performed really well during recessions. It's completely, you can't, a lot of people say, you know, crypto couldn't go up anymore because we haven't even started a recession or whatever. Now, the markets are always forward-looking, so you can't really say that. External events can't really be used to predict market movements. It is what it is. We've even had the S&P 500 perform really well in the Second World War, for example. You know, when you get something like a black swan event or something, you see an effect, but typically markets tend to recover very quickly, and yeah, they move on their own. They're forward-looking. You can't say that it always is the case that during a recession, markets are moving, you know, in a bearish way. Actually, it's quite the opposite because it is typically the market, the prices, the charts that recover first, and then afterwards, the recession ends. Yeah, the market is always forward-looking. So yeah, thanks for your support and the kind words in the comments. So let's maybe first quickly look at Bitcoin. And a few people asked for MATIC, and I wanted to do a MATIC video yesterday, was just too tired. So I'm going to do Bitcoin and take a look at MATIC. The Bitcoin, not much to add. I just wanted to emphasize here this red candle, which is currently coming down. In the video earlier today, I highlighted here, this could be a so-called ascending wedge, or you can even call it depending on how I draw it, you know, but in Elliott Wave you call it an ending diagonal, and it tried to push above it. Yeah, depending on how I draw it, I can use the wicks or not. But sometimes it does this sort of so-called throw over, so it tries to push above the line and it doesn't succeed, and then it goes the other way. That's what we were here in the last video. We're waiting still for a pullback. The pullback doesn't need to happen. It needs to break below 27,240 to confirm. So until it breaks below that level, we have to expect higher. But I would already go as far to say that if it breaks out of this wedge to the downside, we're probably coming down in the wave 2 correction. By the way, it would be really great if you guys could hit the like button. It would really help. We already have 1,000 viewers, which is amazing. So thank you very much. Yeah, MATIC. I mean, Bitcoin, not much to add from the previous video. Always see a bit of a red candle, but we've seen quite a few here. This is a pattern where normally you would see a downside move. Yeah, not necessarily bearish, but just a pullback in an uptrend. Yeah, the trend is up. We might see a pullback, but not always. But yeah, I would say in 80% of cases, it really is the case. It is very obvious. So you would normally think, because it's so obvious that it will come down, it will go up. Generally about these patterns, yeah. But typically they do come down from these patterns. They are patterns of exhaustion, indicating that the bulls are still there, but the bears are getting stronger. But yeah, it's, we're hitting the 30K, nearly the 30K, so it's gonna get resistance, a lot of resistance. But certainly, until it breaks below 27,240, we also need to consider it could go up directly further, and next targets were 29K and 30,500. Okay, so I promised MATIC first. By the way, Solana isn't doing much, so I'm not gonna. And to be fair, anything I tell you now before the interest rate increase is probably gonna be challenged anyway, because it's gonna go up and down. So yeah, MATIC, let me, by the way, take out this resistance, just blocks the... I mean, here for MATIC, it's still this... let me just move things along. Got that large support area. I want to move that to the left, actually. Don't need that at the moment. Just tidy up a bit. Yeah, I mean, here we talked about the move up could have been only a B wave, maybe. We come down in C, or another 1-2 setup. Well, either way, as long as the orange box there, which is the relevant standard support area, is holding, we could be looking at higher. Now, fair enough, it might form something like a so-called head and shoulders, even though that's a massive left shoulder, so I'm not sure how relevant that is. But the point is, as long as $1 is holding, this could still move higher based on this 1-2 setup. And target-wise, we would be looking at, for that third wave there, yeah, we're looking at around 158, so for the target. But it's it hasn't really delivered yet, right? But it's sort of bounced. You saw these reactions. It reacted to that support area here, here. So we're waiting now for it to deliver. But its market has moved basically sideways for the last few days. So because everybody's been waiting now for the interest rate decision. So there is not much more to add. It's holding above support, so we can focus on higher, but it needs to hold the $1. Harima, you player, can you share some good brain supplement for focus? Well, I don't take any brain supplements, but you could try vitamin B12. Is apparently good for the brain. Take that from time to time. But yeah, there is not much more add as a brain supplement other than coffee. Caffeine. It's good. Okay, ADA, a few people asked ADA. So at the moment, the trend is up. Yeah, so the trend is clearly up. Small pullbacks, not a problem. Yeah, going up or down, whatever. But small pullbacks in an uptrend are opportunities, in my opinion. Bitcoin is extremely resilient. So yeah, and ADA as well, there is also not too much to add to the last video. I think, I would go to say, go as far to say that it bottomed here in a wave 2 on the 21st of March, which was, well, that was yesterday, wasn't it? It was here at 32.8 cents. It bottomed in a wave 2. It then rallied in another wave 1, but the lower degree price action is rather unclear. I mean, I could always show you one count, but there is no, then people will always like, okay, it didn't work out, whatever. But the thing is, it's too dynamic on the lower time frames. But it could certainly be that we're doing here something like a flat pattern, A wave down, B wave up, C wave down, maybe already complete, but then this looks like a 3-wave move up again. So maybe we're coming down in the longer C wave. The view is here that as long as we're holding 35 cents in this 1-2 setup, this can still move higher. Yeah. Looks a bit like, though, a bit of a strange, what is that? Sort of range movement here. The thing is, those flat patterns, they often are classed as sideways corrections. So I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't go much lower, because it looks really just like a sideways. It could even, well, it can't really be a triangle because it's a wave 2. But the B wave, for example, could develop as a triangle. Just some ideas for the lower degree count, but there's no point trying to analyze really those lower degrees. The key is here. This is the support area. It needs to hold 34 cents, and it can give us that third wave to the upside. Andy, I can't turn volume up more. Yeah, I've got it maximum, so maybe it's from your end. But yeah, Matthew just asked, is a triangle forming? Well, it can't be a wave 2 triangle, but the B wave could be a triangle, for example. Yeah, a wave 2 cannot be a triangle. So great. So 500 likes, guys. If you can put a little bit more effort into hitting the like button, that would be amazing. So Link, of course I'm married, Matt. Someone asked if I'm married. Yes, I'm married. Well, I shouldn't say of course, because not everybody's married, but yeah, no, I'm married. Okay. Yeah, I mean, here also it's a bit unclear what the micro count is doing. Yeah. So I've just highlighted support areas, and they so far did hold. I wouldn't really be able to tell you with a high accuracy and in a reliable way what this is. So I've labeled it as a wave 1 to the upside, a wave 2 to the downside. Then here a possible additional 1-2 setup, and we could now be in a third wave. Either way, as long as 663 is holding, we can focus on higher. Below that level, it will get problematic, and we might follow that white wave count down. As you might remember from my videos, there's a bearish and a bullish count here, very conflicting counts. However, that doesn't really matter. So I mean, this could be the wave 2. Okay, so coming down in a wave 1, moving up in a wave 2, looks like a 3-wave structure. Fine, absolutely, right? But we had 2 setups here. So I always encourage people to, I shouldn't say encourage. I don't recommend anything. It's sort of what I think how this should be traded in general is trading the setups, not the counts. The counts give you an idea for the roadmaps. There's always more than one roadmap. And then you get within these roadmaps the trade setups where reward is high, risk is low. That's very objective. Doesn't, some people are bullish, some are bearish. That's always biased. But the Elliott waves, they're objective. So measuring reward, well, I shouldn't say they're objective, because even an Elliott wave count can be subjective, but what is objective is the measurement of reward versus risk. And if you have these setups here, they always usually give you good reward to risk. So here these 2 worked out. Fantastic. We had other ones that worked out here, which I did hide now because I don't want to have too much stuff on the chart. But yeah, this could be a wave 2, which eventually will come down, and we are now heading into resistance. So here it's just you need to be aware that be on the side of caution here. Why do we head into resistance? Well, because this is now not overshooting B wave, but we're now in the B wave resistance area. So if we say, okay, wave 2 resistance, if we came down in a wave 1, follow the white count, we move up in a wave 2 now. If it, it needs to break above 788 to at least make that unlikely that this is the white count. So yeah, we're now in resistance. And above 788, we can be a bit more bullish and say, okay, we're probably in the third wave in orange. These were the two setups. You know, what would I do? I didn't trade this, but I've got my grid bot running. Had I bought here, I would probably look at taking some partial profits, or at least move up my stop loss into break even, because there's now the risk increases now of a breakdown for Link at least, yeah. Because we just moved from support into resistance. So there was a dog, if you heard someone. Okay, Matthew asked, hey Ben, I'm finally having a ledger delivered today. Any suggestions on when to take coins off exchanges versus keeping them on a DEX? So I'm not using DEXs too much. The only reason why I would use a DEX is to do some yield farming. Otherwise, there's no point for me to use a DEX, to be honest. Volume is typically lower, and it's a bit of a, I don't know, unless someone can convince me, I don't see a reason to use a DEX other than for doing a bit of yield farming or so. That's why I typically use centralized exchanges. It's just more, in my opinion, more reliable in terms of trading. But, you know, there are people who trade well on DEXs as well. But yeah, no, I would always use them on, I would always use a centralized exchange. But then when I have any funds I don't really use for trading, I take off and put them on the ledger, especially if I have longer term positions. That's sort of my view. I mean, it's not that I say, okay, above a certain dollar amount or so, I move them onto the ledger. It's more like when I feel uncomfortable having it on the exchange because it's too much. For example, you know, you don't want to have too much risk sitting on the exchange. Then I move it to the ledger. Yeah, Debbie asked about Gala. I think, to be honest, Gala isn't moving much, is it? So let's see. Nah, it's just there's no change from the video earlier. It's still in support. As long as support holds, we have to treat it like that, and we can say, okay, as long as the 3.9 cent level is holding, we can get that third wave. Okay, if it doesn't hold, we fall back directly in the larger wave 2 scenario, but even then we've got against 3.35 cents, the focus can be on higher because we're holding support. Must say below that it will get critical. Yeah. Now, very much of a warning here. On days like these, we can see those waves go into their extremes. So where I normally say that the 78.6 retrace shouldn't be broken, on days like these you can see that. Yeah. Cap Jackson, if I have a favorite exchange, I honestly use mainly Bybit. I started to use Bitget and Binance sometimes, not too often, and Kucoin. Yeah, and Kucoin. So I try to spread as well. I try to diversify between exchanges. I would encourage everybody to not only have one exchange, because what happens if that exchange locks your account for whatever reason? You want to have a second option. So I just have to randomly pick. I mean, Aptos, because we get requests, and in a few minutes we get the decision. In the meantime, hit the like button, guys and girls. That'd be amazing. Yeah, okay, Aptos also not really any update from my previous video. I mean, we can't remember when I made the last video. I think we were probably still within this descending wedge. Typically, you would expect the breakout to the upside of these wedges, which happened, but so far it has failed to follow through. So we could technically say that we have this ABC complete, because the C wave bounced off the golden ratio here, 1168, and the first target would be the beginning of the wedge, which is sort of 1430. Then eventually it should reach $27, but it needs to hold for that to work 1084. That's the relevant level. 1084, below that, yeah, I would lose trust. But again, as I said, on days like these, you can get these waves go into the extremes. Technically, as long as it holds 970, this 1-2 setup is valid. Kyle, no problem. My wife doesn't want to kill me. That's all good. Talking about crypto now. All right, Patrick asked about HBAR. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess. It's holding the support area so far, so that's all good. But what I'm thinking is wave 2 is probably not finished, because it's just moving sideways. So this could be a B wave triangle, or it could be something more bearish. this is one where intentionally also in orange, it's just a bit more risky because it hasn't really followed through in any impulsive way to the upside so far. So it has technically the waves complete to the downside. It bounced off the golden ratio as well. I count this as a wave 1. The bounce towards the... Oh, 1 second, there's phone ringing. 1 second, I need to put you on hold for a sec. Hello, I'm back. Can't take a call 4 minutes before a Fed rate decision, right? So yeah, no, this is just moving sideways. I mean, I count this as a wave 1, but it's not impulsive. At best, it's a diagonal, and ideally it's holding the 5.7 cent level, yeah. It could theoretically still come down to 4.65 cents, but below that, I will not count this anymore as a wave 2, and we have to expect new bear market lows for HBAR, unfortunately. So that's a bit of a problematic one. It gives me a bit of a headache. So again, as long as it's holding support, it's okay, but it so far has failed to produce an impulsive wave structure. Yeah, some other coins developed a much stronger impulse here on the way to the upside. So ETH chart. Oh, don't have that. Where's the ETH chart? Yeah, I think ETH is coming down. I was going to say in the previous video, or I did say actually, they would look much better with one more leg down here. It did that now. It made a lower low below the A wave low. So that's good. It doesn't look finished though. But then again, bear in mind, in a few minutes, we've got the interest rate decision. So this can turn around now at an instant. Happy this worked out so far. It's hit the support area again, reacted to the 50% retracement. In a third wave, it can go to 2000 plus, okay? So MATIC we already did. Crow, to be honest, everything will probably be need to be updated again in a few minutes, right? Okay, so the Crow is still in the larger, let's say in the larger green support area. I mean, the yellow one eventually is relevant for the shorter time frame here. So let me actually move that big one here to the side. Don't need that anymore. But yeah, it's sort of holding the yellow support line here at the moment. Yeah, and against 6.3 cents, it needs to move higher. But also here, a bit similar to HBAR, hasn't really moved up impulsively yet. So I count the move down as an A wave, B wave up, reacted to the 88.7 FIB level, and it might be coming down in a C wave now. So yeah, I wouldn't rule out a little bit lower before it gets another bounce to the upside. They're all holding their relevant supports for now, but let's see what we see in a couple of minutes. When you see somewhere those interest rates announced, just post them in the chat, please. I will see if I can here in parallel watch them here as well. But you might see them a little earlier because we all have different sources, right? Yeah, market is now obviously just waiting. Okay, chill, thrill. Okay, I just do quickly dot, but they are all, I think, in their relevant support areas. Already left them to the upside. Here, yeah, just testing again. This was a 3-wave move to the upside. I did highlight in the previous video that dot likes to do these wedges. They typically do break to the upside. I highlighted in the last video that this looks exactly like what we did here on the 11th of March. Also, can you see this? Looks exactly the same. Coming down, maybe before a pump. Obviously, we need that signal. We need price to confirm. But yeah, descending, broadening wedge. Ideally, it needs a break above the trend line to confirm the onset of the third wave. Ideally, it's holding the 597 level. Right, so let's see. Please post into the chat when you get the update about the rates. What we want to see eventually is either 4.75 or 5. 4.75 would be bullish. 4.75 would be bullish. 25 rates are okay. That's what the market That's what the market expected anyway. So we might see a bit of a reaction to the downside, because I think some market participants expected 0. Right, 25. Okay, so let's see. Oh, see, that's weird. Let's see where we get a pump. But I would expect, wow, Bitcoin going up. Right, but we just need to be a bit patient. I wouldn't trade this at the moment. This is just, normally you would expect a bit of a drop, because 25 is sort of still towards, yeah, I mean, what the market expected, but I think nobody expected 50, right? So let's see. You often get that fake pump and it goes the other way. It's a bit of a mixed picture in crypto at the moment. A lot of the altcoins should actually start to rally. Bitcoin should actually start to come down. So it's a bit of who's lying here. Very mixed picture. My view is with 25, normally we should see a bit of a drop. But you never know what's already priced in, because really bullish would have been no rate increase, right? 25 is normally the market expected it anyway. And yeah, there you go. Fake pump. Let's see. Because 25, no rate increase was, I think, partially priced in already. So that's not happening. So you should expect a bit of a drop, actually. 0 increase would have been slightly bullish, or very bullish. So yeah, let's see. Bitcoin is obviously leading, so we keep it on Bitcoin at the moment. DXY is falling, Let's see, I can only also open. I haven't actually looked at the DXY for a few days. So why not actually open the DXY? By the way, if you're not following my second channel, so check out, I do analyze the DXY there regularly, net gas, oil, other stuff. It's called More Trading Online, the channel. I don't know if it's linked in the description, but check that out as well if you're interested in regular DXY updates. Well, that's falling. It's actually probably in this B wave here still. It's in the support area still, so no change. Key support here for the DXY is, by the way, 101.93. Sort of in this region now to still get. But the problem is with a B wave, I mean, they can do all sorts of funny stuff, right? So they can extend out a bit. The trend is clearly down here, short-term trend. Yeah, Bitcoin a bit still in the pattern. Bitcoin is still constrained by the ascending wedge pattern. Oh, June var. Sorry, I missed that. I didn't see that. But yeah, you can always check my second channel that nothing happened. But I will do a DXY update again on the More Trading Online channel probably. Maybe even today. But this is going down. So yeah. So going down here, you would normally see a bit of upside in crypto. Now we don't really see much of that. But let's see, it's all very dynamic at the moment. It's all very dynamic. So we should not normally take that too seriously, the first few minutes. And there will be much more. Don't get me wrong. During that, when the moment then Jerome will hit the stage and start to speak in around about 25 minutes, you're going to see even more volatility. Take a pizza. So, okay, Vinicius. Yeah, XC is just, sorry, it's just a really bad chart. I mean, we can have a quick look, but it's just such a, it's not worth. The problem is that it is one of these charts that actually peaked in 3 waves, ABC. Yeah, you can see that here very nicely on the log chart. You could get away with counting it as a 5-wave move, but whenever there's doubt, yeah, I would rather avoid it, because there are charts that rallied clearly in 5 waves. Actually didn't, and also it has really not shown much of a reaction to the recent rallies, in my opinion. And it rallied clearly in 3 waves of the January lows. So that's a very clear 3-wave move. Yeah, nothing in my opinion that is very attractive with XE. And I mean, it can still be traded to the upside. in my opinion, relevant support here is 758. If it drops below 750, well, you could take the last swing low at 696. If it drops below that level, then we'll probably see new bear market lows. But against that, I mean, yeah, you could focus on higher, but then we've got, I think, much better setups available elsewhere than XC. In the meantime, Bitcoin is actually going up. Let's see, as I said, we need to see who's lying, because Bitcoin is due a pullback. Now, again, it can still go up higher as long as the 27,240 level is holding, because only below that level we have a confirmation of a breakdown. Until then, it can always go higher because the trend is up. The trend is always your friend until it breaks. Okay, that's very important. But a pullback is still due. So it's got a full pattern, but it won't, without seeing a signal. Wow, I mean, Bitcoin is gonna, right, so we see good reaction across the market. I mean, it's time for some of the altcoins to move up now, because most of them are in support. Bitcoin should pull back, but it can still go higher. So maybe we see a bit of a rally, but let's see. It's way too early. Just seeing a bit of upside. Oops, across the market. DOT. Yeah, some green candles. Nothing major, but Bitcoin is doing quite well, but it's fighting, right? Okay, ETH going up. So obviously I'm so I can't cover all requests, so, and also can't do too much longer. But let's look at some. So Phantom, because bear in mind when Jerome hits the stage, you'll see even more volatility, and he could just say one thing and then suddenly it all goes. But it will be an interesting speech today. But I'll probably get some pizza or something. Yeah, so far a rally in 3 waves, but it bounced off our support area. Yeah, it came down, obviously, in this descending trend channel, did rally, retested from above, and could now go higher against that. The key is here, again, as long as it's holding 35 cents, it can focus on higher. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, also here, solid 5-wave move to the upside, 1-2 setup. This support area did hold last week. Had another 5-wave move up. This support area so far did hold. Yeah, I mean, we had some really good setups here in this week. Right, AVAX. Again, I'm just choosing some requests here randomly. Which was the AVAX. Yeah, nothing to add. AVAX against 1591. It's holding our support area. Fantastic. It just now needs a breakout above 1825 to deliver that further upside into the $20 plus area, right? I've seen a request for Litecoin, so let's look at that as well. Yeah, it came down into support again. Here, ideally, the orange one is relevant for this imminent count, but I cannot rule out it comes back into the yellow one. Here, to keep it very simple, as long as the $70 level holds, this is generally oriented towards the upside. And we've got support here at, key support is $77 in my opinion, and then down to 70. But below 70, it is not going to be reliable anymore, to be honest, Litecoin. Yeah, but it has a good setup for higher generally. Yeah, SDAO, I don't have a chart for SDAO, Mislav, so I can't really cover it because it takes a while to do that. So no, for SDAO, I don't have a chart, unfortunately. But maybe we add it at some point to the II coins. But in the end, they're all gonna, they're all similar. Fetch, we can have a look at. Yeah, so that requests. Here, again, in our support area, I need to move those large ones to the left because they are not relevant. They were relevant, but I don't really want price to go back into these large areas, and because then it's gonna look a bit strange, and then we need to consider things are changing. So Yeah, here also had a nice 5-wave move up. Yeah, 3 waves down, can find support here. It's broken out similar to Phantom out of this trend channel to the upside, and it's now holding above the channel here. 33.6 cents, as long as that's holding, can give us a 3rd wave rally and should take us above the 61 cent level, then way above that in the 3rd wave rally. Yeah, so that's the condition. It needs to hold these 78.6 retracement levels. Okay, DOT we covered already, but we can look at Atom. HBAR we covered already as well. Yeah, Cosmos also. Someone just asked, I saw that comment, why is Atom so strong? But it's actually not really doing much. It's similar to other coins. Yeah, it rallied off the 10th of March low in 5 waves. I count that as an ABC. This C wave might be complete. Could still come down a little lower to 1093. As long as it's holding the 1093 level, it's all fine. Yeah. And by the way, if anybody's here, over 1,000 people, which is fantastic. I mean, hit the like button would really help still. But if you like to see more frequent analysis of all these coins, I do update all these charts very, very regularly. Some of them multiple times a day. They can't update them all multiple times a day, but they are kept pretty much updated. So if you join the channel membership, silver or gold member, and it's not an expensive membership, you get access to all these live charts on TradingView. So that means you can always access them all. You see the setups, you see the relevant support areas, you see my count. I think you can even import them into your own TradingView or play around with them. So I think that's one of the main values in the membership, plus all sorts of other stuff like educational material, audio lessons, some trading lessons, all sorts of stuff. So check out the membership if you're interested to join a great community, because it is really a great community. It really is one of the probably calmest and most positive communities out there. Right, Ocean, so a few requests. I just saw Blockhuts said, are we not looking at interest? Well, interest rate, that announcement happened. So we're looking at 25% increase. So that was announced like 10 minutes ago. Not 25% increase. No, 0.25, right? So it's 25 basis points. So far, prices haven't really moved a lot. So I guess we'll see some continuation of increased volatility when Jerome hits the stage in around in around 15 minutes. So when he starts to speak, you typically see that movement. Yeah, here as well, Ocean came to our golden ratio here on the 10th of March, did rally. I provided on Tuesday or Monday, I provided updated support areas. It did come into that area and might now be reversing. They're working on their lows now on bottoming process. So as long as it's holding the 32 cent level, we could get a 3rd wave rally, because I might count that as another wave 1, move down in a wave 2, and then rally in a 3rd. So similar to other coins, Edgix, the Hexstar asked for Edgix. No, Milad, I didn't say we're gonna go to new lows. We're actually in an uptrend, so we're holding above all the support areas. So no, we're not at the moment seeing that we go to new lows. Some coins might, and even Bitcoin might, but focusing on that now doesn't help you with your trading, I think, because we're holding above all support areas. So, we are basically in an uptrend and have a good chance to get back into an alt season, actually. So until relevant support areas are breaking, the trend is clearly up. So I wouldn't be focused on the downside at the moment, even though the risk of or potential of new lows is clearly still there. But anybody who's now religiously waiting for new bear market lows without considering any upside potential, I think, has in the last few weeks not been able to participate in these rallies. So yeah, but the potential is still there, absolutely. I mean, we can only take it level by level. So here, Edgix also rallied nicely in 5 waves out of our setup here. Came into the next support area, trend reversal area, worked out, came into resistance, got rejected, nearly hit our next support area, but it might still do it. But either way, against 35 cents, also here it can go higher. It needs to break certainly above the recent high at 59 cents. And then the target here for that third wave, let's check that. That would actually be 88.5 cents. Yeah, so just to get an idea. Emre, obviously I can only speak for myself with regards to hodling altcoins. I'm very careful with hodling altcoins. Reality is that most altcoins are not able to outperform Bitcoin. Yeah, they do that only in a bull run. They're not long term. Most are losing out. So in terms of hodling, I would look personally at the coins that outperform Bitcoin cycle over cycle. There are not many. BNB is one of them. I do hold some AI coins, including AVAX, just because I think the hype isn't over yet, and they might do well in the next bull run. But I don't want to hodl them, but I hold them, in the uptrend. Just sort of, I'd be generally extremely careful with hodling altcoins. Reality is, most altcoins died already. Yeah, they did, and they will do. One good example is HNT Helium, where I've been talking about. That is an absolutely rubbish chart that risks to be delisted from exchanges soon, and we've seen Binance delist HNT. If you have charts with bad or coins with a bad chart, be careful. Even if it's your favorite project, I'm only saying, be on the side of caution. The chart tells us the history, and even if HNT Helium might be a great project, the chart told us already it's questionable and it might be delisted, and now Binance is delisting HNT, or has delisted already. No, Ryan. So I don't do copy trading, Ryan, but obviously you can join the community, and I publish my own trades, but I don't trade intraday. Yeah, but I post them. You can choose to follow, but it's more about I recommend people not to follow my trades until they understand my strategy. It's more about using my tools and the analysis I provide, and then you can develop your own strategy. That's much more helpful. Because even with copy trade, the reason why I don't do copy trading is trades naturally also fail. Yeah. So sometimes you have a winning streak. Sometimes you have a cold run. Many people who are not experienced don't understand that. And you get with copy trading a lot of people who just blindly follow you, and they risk too much. Even when you copy trade, you need to adhere to risk management. The problem is, if you have to copy trade, you don't understand risk management typically, and many people are losing out and risking too much. I've actually watched a few videos of some people who do copy trading, who offer it, and most of them stopped, not because they are bad traders, but they actually were quite successful, but they get so much hate from people who don't understand how trading works. That's the problem when you get people who follow you. Copy trading, they don't understand how it works, and if they don't take the time to focus on risk management, they might risk too much, and if then one trade fails, they lose out. Yeah, and they don't understand why, and that's why I don't do copy trading. I'm much more encouraged in the community to develop, for everybody to develop their own style. So we offer some education. I offer my trades. People can follow if they want to, but the whole idea is I provide the analysis, some tips and tricks around trading, but people need to develop their own style, which I think, develop those trading muscles. It's a bit like going to the gym. Yeah, exactly, Matthew. It's a bit like, like if you go to the gym to develop your muscles, it's like with trading as well. It's like building a skill. You need to build that foundation, the mindset and everything around it. Because trading is much more than just a chart going up or down. It's the whole position management and risk management and mental game. So yeah, I mean, we sort of what else do we have? Mini Bike Life. You said Bitcoin could have put a shallow wave 2 in. What fib level would you consider shallow? That always depends on which wave we're in. But if it's a wave 2, I mean, even here, I mean, this is a potential 1-2. Ideally, we want in a wave 2 at least a 50% retracement. Yeah. anything less than that for a wave 2 I consider shallow. So as you can see, it didn't reach the 50%, but it reached the 38.2 fib, I think. Maybe not even. So yeah, it just barely, didn't even touch it. So that's extremely shallow for a wave 2. And ideally also to get a better orientation of where, because it's so shallow, that could now also be a wave 4. And that just makes analysis then very difficult. If you don't get these deep pullbacks in a wave 2, you don't really know where you are in the analysis, and that makes it difficult. That's why this could be a 1-2, because there's not really a rule how deep a wave 2 must go. But it could be a wave 2, because this is another 5-wave move up and it's very long. Or the whole thing could be a wave 1 and then we get that wave 2, right? But that's because it's shallow, it's a bit problematic. So yeah, it's going to get interesting now here. Prices haven't moved. I think they're waiting now for Powell's speech. So Veep Harvey, I don't understand that, but I would like to see some sorting of coins that you cover. Not sure if I understand what you mean. Hi James from Canada. Hello, hello. Just scrolling through the chat. Let's see if I missed something. Obviously tons of requests, so it's great. I can't obviously cover them all. But as I said, you know, in the membership you get more additional signals, and you get the live charts if you like to join. Don't need to, of course. There's tons of free content obviously on the YouTube channel. But if you like to support this channel plus join a great community, then yeah, feel free to check out. I saw a request for GRT. I haven't looked at that chart for a while though. I think I'm still considering this year a wave 4, even though it came down quite deep. Could also be a 1-2-1-2 setup. So it's probably rather a 1-2-1-2. For that it needs to hold, for that it needs to hold 9.3 cent, no, 9.26. Below that level, it's probably going to make a new bear market low. Yeah, so that's the relevant level in my opinion. But it is a chart I don't like. It has nothing to do with the project, but I mean, look at this. It is a chart that, again, it topped in 3 waves. You know that any chart that creates an ABC structure to the upside is potentially doomed to fail. H&T did the same thing, got delisted, right? Everybody said how good that project is. Just saying, doesn't mean it will be, but it just means these charts can also go bullish. They can even make new all-time highs, but it's just that there is additional risk compared to other coins which haven't topped in 3 waves. Yeah, Vechain. And then I think, Emre, I would personally like to say that I have learned a lot from you and have improved on my TA quite a lot. Oh, that's great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, okay, Vechain is still in the support area. No change to previous videos. It just needs to, I mean, I'm moving the green box out probably, but it needs to hold the orange one here, 2 cents. As long as it's holding 2.07 cents, we could get that third wave. You know, that sort of just it's a bit of a waiting game now. You know, do these support levels actually hold? Seems like announcement has been a bit of a non-event, because I think 25 basis points was largely priced in. Because that's what the market expected, right? It showed it on the FedWatch tool. Even though I thought that more of the, okay, we get no rate increase would have been priced in already. Okay, Ruben, I have to, honestly, I need to finish in a minute. Also need to call my wife back, who just called. So I just obviously told her I can't call because I'm on the stream. But yeah, do VAI and then I have to finish because I need to get some dinner, and then we'll see what Jerome says. Want to listen to that. Also here, possible 5-wave move down complete in a C wave, and as long as it's holding the last low, which was here at around 9 cents, we can get that third wave rally. So I think a lot will be decided in the next half an hour or so when Jerome is speaking. Gonna listen into that, and then thanks all for joining. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it, and yes, see you later, maybe in the membership or wherever, and in the videos, comments. And thanks all, and have a great week. And there'll be some more videos later. Thank you very much. Bye bye.